My dreams are nightmares. How can I sleep? You got the gun against me.
What's going on, everybody? KingofDragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Star Wars Black Series Target exclusive Djarin and the Child. And so here we do have Djarin and the Child posing out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figures, let's actually take a look at their accessories. Djarin does come with quite a few accessories. He does come with his blaster, which does fit in his right hand nicely, and if you don't want him holding it, it does fit into his side holster. He also comes with his pulse rifle, which has a lot of nice detail. I do like it. And if you don't want him holding it, it can store onto his back. He also comes with his jetpack, which I'm not a fan of the color. It's still this dingy gray color, which I guess it's okay. Then we do get a tracking fob, which does go into either of his hands. We get 5 pieces of the Beskar ingots, which look nice. I do like the detailing on them. And then, of course, we do get the pram for Grogu, or the Child, which I am a fan of that. It does come with a cover as well, so you can cover him up. Other than that, we really don't get anything else with Djarin here, which I think that's pretty good. I think he's really solid on accessories. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually take a closer look at Djarin and the Child. And so here we have a closer look at the Child, or Grogu as he's now called. When this figure was initially released, he was still known as the Child, and they did a really good job with Grogu here, as well as his pram, which I do like that. Let's actually take Grogu out of his pram for one moment, just so we can appreciate the amount of detailing that they put into this. Just look at all this detailing that Hasbro did. They honestly didn't have to put this much detail in basically a Kinder Egg. They did a lot for this. And you can see it does have some vents right here. Really do like the gold and silver paint apps right here. Really do like the fact that they sculpted the cushions. And then we do have some wiring for Grogu there. And it looks really nice. And it does come with the cover, so you can put Grogu in here. And it looks really solid. It doesn't even look like it's supposed to open, but that's a really good thing. I do appreciate that. And it just tabs in at 3 points, so you don't have to worry about just like sliding things in. You just basically tab it in and you're done. So yeah, really do like that. And Grogu does fit in it if you lay him down. Of course his little arm will be poking out, but it does seal nicely with him in it, so you don't have to worry about him not fitting in the pram. So having a look at Grogu here, it's essentially a static figure. We don't get too much articulation on this figure. They did a really good job, and it's really reminiscent of the initial Grogu that we got. You can see right here. I think I'm still a fan of the initial Grogu, but this does look nice. They did add the whites to his eyes and then added the little hairs, which I don't know, it's hard to say which one I prefer. They both look really nice, to be honest, but comparing the two, this one has more accurate colors when it comes to his little robe. But overall, Grogu here looks really nice, and I am glad that they did include him with the pram. The pram is one of the key accessories for the Child, so really happy that we got that. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually have a closer look at Djarin. And so here we do have a closer look at Djarin, and I have to say that Hasbro did a really good job with this helmet. You can see it does look a little bulbousy, and that's because there is another accessory that I failed to mention. Well, didn't fail to mention, I wanted to hold that off. His helmet actually does come off, so if you really want to have him without the helmet, you can pull that off. And then we have what I think initially was a terrible Pedro Pascal face, but having it in hand, it looks so much like Pedro Pascal. I think the one thing that is missing is that his facial hair needs to be a little bit darker. But other than that, it's a very good likeness to Pedro Pascal, and they did a fantastic job with this figure's face sculpt. Now, we have had a look at this figure before. It's essentially the Beskar armor Mandalorian, which let's take the cape off because that will be getting in the way. It's essentially the same figure as the Beskar armor Mandalorian, which I had no problem with that figure. It was a really nice figure, and having it again Still like it. And I think I'm going to keep the helmet off this figure because the helmet kind of looks better when it's not worn, and you can kind of see right here his nose start to warp it a little bit. So yeah, we're going to try to keep this off of him. But yeah, initially I thought it was a terrible head sculpt, but it does look like Pedro Pascal, so I gotta give them credit on that they did a very good job. Maybe it's because this is a second run figure that they got the likeness down better. I know the initial run of the figure did kind of have a awkward looking face, but yeah, really happy with the way it came out. So again, we're going to have a quick rundown of his costume. You can see he does have the Beskar plating right here, which looks really nice. His pauldron that he got on the first episode, also really good. You can see that you can line up his bandolier, and it does holster the pulse rifle really nicely, and there's some grooves in the jetpack that you need to line up the bandolier with so it fits on properly. Really do like this, that the fact that they did sculpt the detailing on his back plate. They could have easily just left that smooth, but you can see they did add some lift and ridges to it, so that's pretty good. On his right pauldron, we do have the signet of the Mudhorn, which looks really good. I love that little sigil right there. Then we go on to his gauntlets, and you can see this is the main gauntlet that has the flamethrower on it. Even though both of them have a flamethrower, I think this is the one that we initially saw it with. But it does look nice, and that's a pretty good piece. And then we do have the gauntlet with the whistling birds right here. Kind of wish that they included like a whistling bird attachment like the SH Figuarts version, but it still looks really good. I do like it. And then having a look here, we do have a couple of thermal detonators right there. Some ammo for the pulse rifle here and here. Then we do have a buckle there that's nicely painted. I really do like the colors right here. Now this isn't accurate to Season 1 only because they did reuse the sculpt. The one thing he shouldn't have for Season 1 is this knee pad right here. He didn't have this knee pad in Season 1 when he got his new armor, so that is a little bit inaccurate. But I take a little bit of inaccuracy over it being completely inaccurate. And then of course we do have some more ammo for his pulse rifle right here. Again, it's a figure that we've had a look at before, but it's still a very solid release, and I do like it. It looks really, really good. So, with that out of the way, guys, let's actually pose Din Djarin and the child and compare them to other figures you may have in your collection. Here we have Din Djarin posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Din Djarin and the child posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure in a Mezco 1/12 Collective, Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have Din Djarin and the child posed next to a Lightning Collection White Ranger in a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And finally, here we do have Din Djarin posed next to the Mandalorian armor and Paz Vizsla. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually move on to their articulation. We'll start with Grogu because he does have the least amount of articulation. Grogu only has 3 points of articulation. He does have a swivel here at the head, although I think it's a ball joint. I really don't want to pull it out, but yeah, it does appear to be a ball joint because there is some up and down movement, but you really only get left and right because of how he's sculpted. And then his arms are on a swivel, while his hands are on a swivel, so you can swivel his hands. But other than that, Grogu doesn't come with any other points of articulation, so let's move him off to the side so we can have a look at Din Djarin. Din Djarin does have the standard Black Series articulation where he does have a ball joint here at the head. It's a dumbbell joint and he only goes up to about that far. You can look down to about that far. He can tilt his head. Even though he does have a ball joint here at the neck, you can see that does help with side to side, upward and downward movement, so that is pretty good. His arms do have butterfly joints which do go back to about right there and then come forward. They go out to the side, no problem, although they are a little bit hindered by his pauldrons. They go all the way around really nicely. No bicep swivel, but we do have rotation here at the elbow as well as a hinge, so that works perfectly. His wrist does have an in and out hinge and then rotation, and then his right hand does have an up and down hinge for pistol wielding, so I do like that. He does have a ball joint here at the waist, so that looks really good. It moves back and forth nicely. We do get rotation right there. Nothing at the waist, but his legs do kick forward to about right there. I think his right leg, yeah, his right leg is a little bit more hindered because of the way his armor is sculpted. Going out to the side, right leg again a little bit more hindered because of the blaster right there, but it goes out pretty far. We do have rotation at the thigh. Double bend at the knee, which is something we don't see on Star Wars figures anymore, but he still has it. Kind of ugly, but it works, it's functional, so there is that. No swivel at the foot, but we do have a hinge in the ankle going up and down. That works good. And then we have forward-facing pin for rocker ankle. So overall, Din Djarin here has some pretty good articulation. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get Grogu and Din Djarin posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the Star Wars Black Series Din Djarin in the child pose for my final thoughts, and overall, really happy I have this set in hand. This is actually one set I was looking for the longest time. However, I never honestly found it in stores, and it always sold out on Target.com. So finding this set was actually quite a bit of a challenge, and every time somebody in my area did find it, I was always at work and I was never able to leave and go pick it up. Thankfully, Target was able to provide this for their second chance sale when they did their summer geek sale, whatever they're calling it. It's a really nice way for collectors who missed out on initial figures to get them, and this is just one of those figures that I really did want to have in my collection because I did want an unmasked Din Djarin, and this is a really nice figure. And like I said, this does seem to fix a lot of mistakes that I think the initial run did have, because the face on this one looks so much better than the faces I've seen on other figures. I honestly think that this is a second production where they tweak the face paint a little bit, because this honestly looks a lot more like Pedro Pascal than other figures that I saw when this figure initially released. So I am happy about that. Now, at the time I'm making this video, this is sold out on Target.com, and hopefully they still have some in stock in your local stores, because this is a really nice set for any fan of The Mandalorian to have. It kind of does tie in with Season 2, seeing as how he takes his helmet off more frequently, but if you haven't picked up this figure, and it's still available on Target.com, I really recommend you pick it up, especially if you're a fan of The Mandalorian like I am. This is one set you're going to want to have. Even though he is basically a figure we've seen before, the fact he does come with a Prem and a Grogu, that's something that I think this makes this set so much more worth it, and this will run you about $35. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other Star Wars Black Series videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it fits in my collection, I'll gladly have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.